It was 2008, and the full bite of the recession was on. And I told my brother that I I heard the whisper. The universe had given me a sign, or that silent whisper, that it was time for me to go home, to go back to Portland. And it was bittersweet because everything was going very well with my brother, and being with my nephews every day. It was it was good as I was losing everything, all of my personal effects and assets in the recession. Having that relationship as a foundation, my brother and my nephews, was really good for me. So in the end, it was bittersweet that I had to pick up and pack up my 4x8 trailer and move back to Portland. But I did. I heard the whisper. And my son was in Portland, and it was time for me to face the Mount Rushmore of all of my problems, and um, homelessness, bad credit, bankruptcy. There were so many things that I had to face, and it was it was time. So I did. I didn't have a place to go. My mother lived in a non-assisted living facility in Portland, so I couldn't go there. So I had to go to my dad's house. Single family home, 3 bedrooms. It was just him. You would think it would be a logical place to go, but not for me. My dad and I were just not on good terms at that point, and it stemmed from some decisions that I had made years earlier. Two decisions, actually. So in early 2000s, I had made the decision to move to Seattle because I thought I found the love of my life. But it ended up being one of the worst relationships I'd ever been in. It was just full of toxicity. But prior to leaving for Seattle, my dad had told me that under no circumstance should you leave your child. Nothing warrants a man leaving his child, even if you're not with the baby mama. You should never leave your child. And so that was his position, and I went against his position. So I had to face that. And then the second decision was that I had to overcome with him was in the late 90s. He thought I sided with my mom during their marital problems. And it wasn't like that at all. I'd always stayed neutral. I never got involved and took a side. I always stayed neutral. But you know, my dad, after 37 years in the steel mill here in Oregon, he retired, and he had always been a heavy drinker. And that thing happened after he retired. That thing. It's like that phrase. An idle mind is the devil's playground, and he didn't know what to do, and so he started smoking crack, and things just began to spiral out of control between him and my mom. Things became violent between them, and I moved my mom to my house for safety. And so one morning, there was a car laying on the horn outside of my house, and inside of the house, it was myself, my mom, my son, my girlfriend, and her kids. And I just decided to go to the front door and try to figure out who was doing all this yelling. So I opened the door, and it was my dad. He had double parked his Cadillac on the curb, and he was talking shit to me from the curb. He was telling me to come outside. He was going to kill me. that I was responsible for the breakup of his marriage. I I tried to de-escalate the situation because I saw the gun on his side. He always kept a chrome-plated .32 pistol underneath his car seat. So he brandished his gun and told me he was going to kill me if I didn't bring my mom home, bring her back to his house. So I shut the door. Prior to shutting the door, I told him, just go home. Just go home. And he just wouldn't stop. So I closed the door. I closed the door behind me and I closed my eyes and I counted to 10 because I had a pistol and I didn't want to use it. I didn't want to shoot my father. My dad had always said, always defend your mom against strangers. Always. And in this moment, he was a stranger. He was a man on drugs. He wasn't my father. And so I really had to think deeply before I took my next steps. But after I counted to 10, I heard his car door slam and he screeched off down the street. And that was the end of that. So here I am coming to him. It's been a few years, but I'm coming to him and I need his help now. So those two things were also in the way that we had to confront. And I did. I knocked on his door. He opened. And it was a not so warm welcome. But he allowed me to stay in one of the rooms. He wouldn't let me put my clothes in his closet because he said, you're not going to be here that long. I accepted that. It was a roof over my head, and it was an opportunity for me to regain my footing and figure out, okay, man, what's your next step? What are you going to do now? Obviously, I was going to totally immerse myself in my son's life. I wasn't going to miss a day of seeing him. I wasn't going to miss a day of talking to him. And that was a part of my grounding. But I had to figure out what my next move was going to be. And it came to me. It just came to me.